Oh my goodness, what have we created here? It is, interesting is a word that could be used to describe this livery, but this is what we have to work with. This is our base livery until we unlock some better templates. So let's hope that that doesn't take too long and we can switch things up and get a nice livery onto the car soon. But it's alright. The front end is okay, the rear end is, well, the less said the better. But anyway, let's get on with it and set up the rest of the team. So hello everyone and welcome to F1 2021 My Team. We'll get into driver career at some point later on down the line once new tracks are added and such. But yes, we will do a full driver career season. But for my team, I'm only going to do a 16 race calendar. And my computer's just completely frozen and my screen's gone black. What has happened here? I genuinely don't know what has gone wrong. I hope nothing is broken. Please help. Well, anyway, we're back. I don't know what happened with video editor there. But anyway, like I was saying, 16 race calendar. And we're going to be skipping out on Spain, Monaco, Hungary, and Circuit of the Americas. They're the tracks I guess enjoy the least on the calendar. As for assists, just ABS, braking line and automatic gears. As for the career settings, all this behind the scenes stuff that we can mess around with now, I'm not going to change anything at the moment. I considered going to increased department events, maybe that will happen later on, but for now we're just going to turn up the player faults so that we are even with the AI. We will of course be doing full distance practice, qualifying and races. We will increase the rate of safety cars just to add as much chaos and carnage and fun as we possibly can. And we're going to make the weather prediction less accurate to see how that affects things as well. And finally, we have the simulation settings, which you can see there. We got the simulation damage for when the AI inevitably stack it. Just makes it a little bit more fun to see. And we got flashbacks for whenever I inevitably stack it. We won't talk about that. My team icons, we might get into that later, we'll see. And other than that, let's get into it and start our career.
First things first, let's create your driver.
So as for our driver, I couldn't actually remember which one we used last time, so for now I actually just went with Aiden Jackson, and I'll have to change things back to what I used in the previous game when I found out which driver face I actually used last time. We are of course going to be Australian. Our commentary name will be The Scientist. And of course, our player name, as last year, will be Mark Player. As for our number, again, we're going to stick with my lucky number, 80. I mean, it is in my name after all, so...
Now, let's focus on your driver's look.
Yes, number 80 is the one. But, yes, time to design our helmet and race suit. Not going to show all this, it's going to take forever, so I'll just come back when I'm done.
Okay, boss, let's get this team up and running.
And there we have it, the Candy Cane F1 team. Not the official name.
The first thing we need first, enter a team name.
And just like that, it is now time to come up with a team name. So I reverted back to the notes, or the ideas I noted down just before I got F1 2020 to come up with a team name. And the one that caught my attention was Samurai. So we're going to be the Samurai F1 team.
Now, let's choose a primary sponsor for this season.
Some sponsors offer a larger sign-in bonus up front. Some offer more weekly income. The better we perform, the more our level will go up as the team gains more acclaim. Doing this will increase the income from our sponsors.
So for our primary sponsor, we're going to go with Moon. Obviously, the best payout, and it also, I think, is a nice logo. I think that will look quite cool on the car, so yes, we're going to go with Moon.
Our chassis won't be going anywhere fast without a power unit, so let's sign one of those now.
Obviously, the greater the performance and durability, the better. But be careful about spending all our cash. We're going to have people and facilities to invest in as well. Power unit supplies will also provide upgrades throughout the season free of charge.
So as for the power unit, the Honda is a pretty obvious choice. Not only does it work with our Samurai team name, but it's more durable than the Mercedes, it's got more power than the Ferrari, and it's cheaper than the both of them. On top of that, it's their last season in Formula 1 as an official brand. Of course, their engine's still going to be used by the Red Bull team, but yeah, there's plenty of reasons for me to choose the Honda power unit.
We're not much of a team without a second driver. Let's sign a teammate.
Here are the drivers interested in joining our team. Look at their stats and pick someone you think can get us good results, as long as we can afford them. We renew contracts periodically, so you'll have plenty of chances to sign someone else should the need arise.
So for that second seat in our team, there is one driver and one driver only that I would put there, and that is Nobuharu Matsushita. Obviously, a driver we signed for half a season back in F1 2020. He did very well in that half season, comparative to our first teammate Guan Yu Zhou. But on top of that, a driver we have a lot of history with in F1 2020. I did 3 Formula 2 championships, and every single one we were in a title fight with Matsushita. It was kind of insane. But other than that, obviously, Japanese driver fits in with our team and the sort of theme and branding that we're going for. So welcome to the team, Nobuharu Matsushita. Hopefully you can bring home some results for us.
Looks like we can afford this power unit supplier and teammate. Go ahead and confirm if you're happy.
And there we have it. The foundation of the team is set.
Let's create the livery we'll be running this season.
We've already seen that.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass.
As you can see, there's no pit lane behind me, and as you can hear, no roar of engines, and that's because they've set me free from the F1 paddock to escape here to the countryside and to the headquarters of Formula One's newest team. Now, it's not every day we get to pull back the curtain and look behind the scenes at an F1 team. Rarer still that we get to talk not only to the team owner, but also the team's lead driver. But what makes this place extra special is that the owner and lead driver are one and the same person. Now, it's been an interesting 12 months, and we all know a number of the regulation changes which were due to come into effect this year have been delayed until next. Some, though, are still seeing the light of day, amongst them the all-important budget cap, which gives some of the smaller teams a little further down the order, potentially, the opportunity to compete with the bigger teams. Good for them, but great for us as viewers. But what does our new team owner think about these new rules? Do they see them as a challenge, a hurdle that needs to be overcome? Perhaps they see them as an opportunity to disrupt the status quo, a chance to come out swinging and to carve their name into Formula One history. Well,
I had the opportunity to ask them these very questions just earlier today, and here's what they had to say. Well, first of all, thanks so much for inviting us here today. It's been wonderful to see behind the scenes. As you might expect, I've got about 1 million questions, so let's jump straight in. It's been a long time since we last saw a team owner take their own car onto the track, and the sport's changed enormously in the intervening years. How are you going to handle the responsibilities of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
Yeah, of course it's going to be a challenge, but I'm here for it, and so is everyone else on the team. We've all been working very, very hard to make this work, not least of whom are the engineers and mechanics who have been working overtime to get the cars designed, built, and ready for action for pre-season testing in Bahrain very shortly. But yeah, I'm just really excited to get the cars onto the circuit and see what they can do in reality. Of course, the simulations, we don't know how accurate they're going to be. Are the cars going to be good, bad? We just don't know until we get some real on-track testing. But yeah, just really looking forward to just getting the cars on the circuit and yeah, getting the dream started, really.
Let's talk about your teammate. Now, it's clear they're excited to have signed with you, but tell me, what is it that you think they bring to the team?
Yeah, of course, Nobuharu Matsushita is a very, very experienced driver in various places around the world. He's seen success in Formula 2, Super Formula, the list goes on. And I think that talent and the experience and the skills that he has will transfer well into our team in F1 as well.
So you've obviously been putting a lot of work into the car. I know it's early days, but how do you expect it to feel out there?
Yeah, we're expecting the car to be nice and responsive. That's something we tried to work on quite a lot, but of course we won't know until the tyres hit the road and we'll actually see how it handles.
Most of the other teams can boast years of experience in Formula One. Where do you see the opportunities to make those vital performance gains you need to put you within reach of the other cars?
Yeah, this era of Formula One cars has very, very complex power units with the hybrid systems, so we've tried to work a lot in that area as well.
Ultimately, your success this season is going to come down to whether you can take positions from the other drivers. What is it about your car that's going to give you that edge in those battles?
Yeah, well, of course, it's all about being able to follow closely these days in Formula 1 and trying to stay with the other cars when you're battling. And that comes down to mechanical grip. So we've tried to make the car as light as we possibly can in order to increase that mechanical grip when we're in the dirty air.
And finally, with so many specialist departments working together here at your headquarters, and with such an important deadline coming up, who's getting that coveted Teacher's Gold Star? Which group do you feel the most proud of right now?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, of course, the whole team's been working incredibly hard, but if I had to choose one, I suppose I could say the chassis department. As I was just saying, they've been working incredibly hard and the facilities are very good.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to get an insight from you and, of course, to see around the headquarters. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. And thank you all at home for watching as well. We'll see you very soon.
Alrighty then, so here we are in the headquarters for the first time. And, well, the car is under wraps at the moment. You have already seen it though, of course. But we have plenty to go through.
It's important to use the time between races to the fullest extent. And that's where these activities come in.
Manage everyone's time as efficiently as possible to maximise the team's performance.
And plenty of tutorials as well, apparently. But yeah, we have plenty to get through, so let's crack on with it. We will do the pre-season advertisement campaign. That gives us a bunch of team acclaim. And we'll do the aero and chassis focus. It gives us a whole pile of resource points and a massive boost to the morale in those departments. Next up, we're going to upgrade the analysis suite in the personnel department. As for R&D, we will upgrade the rear wing main plane. We have enough money left for 2 of the additional driver perks, so we're going to go for the driver acclaim boost as well as the engine durability boost. And with all that out of the way, it is now time to go to the car reveal. There it is then, the Samurai SMR1 is now ready for action, so let's just head straight over to Bahrain and get this season underway.
Welcome to the team. I'm Ollie. I'm the team's head of R&D. I'm here to help you deliver the results the team expects. Do that, and I'm sure we'll get on great. Your workstation's all set up and ready to go. Don't let us down.
Before we head into practice, I've noticed we have another bunch of resource points to spend from that aero and chassis focus. That we did. We've got high morale on the chassis department, so we're going to utilize that for this monocoque structure weight reduction upgrade, and we'll get that on the car hopefully very soon. Well, here we are then, finally ready for the first practice session of the season. It felt like we would never get here, but thankfully the season is just about to get underway for the first official session where we'll see Formula 1 cars on circuit, and we'll get a bit of an idea of the pecking order here in Bahrain.
Morning, boss. Jeff here. Thanks again for bringing me on board. You've found a lot of talented people for this team.
Shame you're not one of them.
I can't wait to see what we can accomplish. Our journey to the Constructors' Championship starts here today, and the car is ready to head out whenever you are.
And so here we go then, into practice, the start of the track acclimatization program. I like the fact we only have to do 3 programs now across the 3 practice sessions rather than 6. I always felt that was a little bit too many and got a little bit laborious on occasion, because practice isn't that interesting, and it doesn't always take that many laps to get up to speed. So yeah, I really appreciate not having to do as many practice laps now, and I think I will enjoy practice a little bit more. But anyway, let's stop talking about this because this video is already going to be very long. Let's just get into qualifying. And just quickly here at the end of practice, you can see we bring home a bunch of resource points. Matsushita actually only getting 1 less program perfect than what I did, which is nice, and a bunch of development bonuses as well, discounts to various different upgrades that we will have in the future. So that is really nice addition as well, and a different way of rewarding getting perfect scores in the practice programs rather than just extra R&D points makes it a little bit more interesting, and you can pick and choose which I guess practice programs you might want to have more attempts at and such if you need to. But there we go, leveling up our team acclaim as well. And I've just noticed our logo on that background looks very much like the Japanese flag, which is quite nice. A little coincidence there. But anyway, now it is time for qualifying. Let's get into it. So here we are for qualifying then, and we haven't actually done a qualifying session for a while, so it's going to be good to get back into it and have to get these singular laps absolutely perfect. Qualifying has always been my strong suit versus race pace, so I'm looking forward to good things in this session. We end off the first round of qualifying Q1, and we get through into Q2 in 11th position, so that's a great first outing for our car, and great pace for us in this first session. We are going to get through into Q2. We did unfortunately have to use 2 sets of tyres, but that's relatively small price to pay for a good grid position, especially seeing as the mediums I think will be the better race tyre. And we have a look here at our lap times, and you can see sector 1 and 3 were actually better on our first flyer, but our overall lap time was better on our second with a better middle sector. So if we got a lap together, we might be able to get into Q3, but that's if we get the lap together fully and do the best lap this car can theoretically do. But that is not necessarily an easy task, but there you have it. We do get through. So now it is time to try again, head into Q2 and see what we can do on our one and only flying lap in this session. And trying to stay off the curbs for the most part. I don't know which ones you can and can't use quite yet. We will quickly learn. But yeah, a lot of the curbs, they tend to either bounce the car wide or just spin the car completely. So you have to be very wary of the curbs, and we're doing so. The slow speed corners, it's not so bad, but it's the high speed and medium sort of speed corners where you got to be careful of what curbs you can and can't use. That one on the right, I found out during the race, is not one you would like to touch. It does send you wide. But anyway, as we continue on through our lap, getting through okay so far. The middle sector wasn't particularly great, but we'll see how the overall time stacks up versus everyone else as we now head through the final sector on the inside curb there. And this outside curb completely ruins our exit there, so I have to be wary of that one as well, because putting down too much power on that curb sent the car sideways into a very small half spin. But anyway, we come across the line, and that lap puts us in 13th position, which I'm pretty happy with. I am yeah, reasonably content with that starting position. Esteban Ocon actually does a decent job there in the Alpine. I thought he might be our target to beat, but oh well, we couldn't quite get there. We did beat Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauris. They definitely could have done better, so I don't know what was going on with the Alphas, but there you have it. And Matsushita down in 16th position, but a great effort from him just to get into Q2. So really happy with the way qualifying has gone here. So let's see what the race has in store for us. Let's get into it.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best at turn 1 of course, and then another soon into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, and Norris, Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, and Charles Leclerc, Ocon, Stroll, the Scientist, and Tsunoda, Gasly, Matsushita, Kimi Raikkonen, and Mick Schumacher, Russell, Giovinazzi, Mazepin, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
So here we are on the grid then for the first race of the season, and the strategy will be a regular 2-stop soft to 2 sets of mediums, Old Faithful in terms of strategy. It's probably the most common, and it always works very well for us around here and various other circuits. So that is the strategy. Let's get into the race and see if we can maybe even get some points if we have some luck in this one, but hopefully just aiming for a top 15 I think will be a reasonable target. So let's try for that and hope we can do well in this race and yeah, just get bank a good result here in Bahrain. And so here we go then to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's a great start versus Esteban Ocon, who himself has got a good start. He goes to the left to Carlos Sainz. We're left with nowhere to go. We have to back out of it and just maintain our position. Tsunoda with a great start. We go to the outside off circuit to try and avoid some contact there with Esteban Ocon. And Ricciardo having a huge moment. Fernando Alonso getting through and making up a few places off the start, I am sure, as we continue on in 8th position. So we've gained a massive position. Charles Leclerc trying to re-overtake us though, and he isn't quite able to do it. But Charles Leclerc with a great run there, not able to make anything work as we head now through the middle sector for the first time of 57 in this race. Charles Leclerc trying to have a little peek down the inside. We leave him some space, so the road tightens up though there, and Leclerc makes a bit of contact as we maybe didn't quite leave a car's width on the inside, but Charles Leclerc didn't really have the nose in far enough to demand track position. Now he's around the outside trying to make the move. He can't pull it off though, can't get the traction down on the curb on the outside, and now Esteban Ocon's got a run on the Monegasque driver, and Ocon gets through and up into 9th position. Charles Leclerc down into 10th. So not a great run of corners for Leclerc as we get past Fernando Alonso, and you can see Alonso with some front wing damage. So that great start is going to go to waste because he will need to come into the pits for a new front wing. Here he is getting that nose changed. So disaster start for Fernando Alonso after looking really good. You can see he'll slow through the corners, and he, along with a few others, have front wing damage. Here's a replay of the start, and we'll see how all that chaos played out and how we made so many places. Hamilton with an awful start there, absolutely bogged down off the line. Bottas has to defend from Max Verstappen, who's trying to make an overtake to the outside. Perez to the outside of Hamilton. So the 4th place starter battling with the 2nd. But here is all the carnage and chaos, and it looks like Ricciardo's got some damage there as well. So we'll have a look at some onboards because it was hard to tell from that angle exactly what happened. It looked like Alonso or one of the Alpines was going for a dive up the inside, but we'll have to have a look at some alternative angles to see exactly what happened. Here's firstly the onboard from Lewis Hamilton. You can see just no drive off the grid, and Verstappen with a great start. He probably had the best start out of anyone, and he's able to get around the outside, not quite able to make the move on Bottas, and Perez very optimistic there and able to make the move on Lewis Hamilton. So Hamilton's from 2nd to 4th. Disaster for him, and he loses a bunch of places as he's also having to defend, I think, from Lando Norris in the McLaren. Here's the onboard with Sergio Perez off the start, and you can see the difference in launch speed between him and Hamilton. So yeah, Perez with a great start, probably fairly similar to Verstappen, and Hamilton just going nowhere off the line. So yeah, disaster for Hamilton. He's lost 2 places off the start to the 2 Red Bulls after the Mercs locked out the front row. Bottas ahead of Hamilton. Here's the onboard with Ricciardo. He got a pretty bad start as well, and yeah, roughly similar to Hamilton. Norris with a really great start. Actually, he might be one of the best starters. There is one of the Aston Martins, Sebastian Vettel, going around the outside, and that is Fernando Alonso making contact on the inside. You can see Ricciardo just trying to keep the car in a straight line. We go sliding through on the inside as Charles Leclerc makes a move around the outside, so Ricciardo just getting his ears boxed on the start line. Ricciardo up the inside of Leclerc now as he tries to make the move, but no front wing downforce for him, and he loses a position to Esteban Ocon in the end. Here's the onboard with Sebastian Vettel, and he had a really great start, switches to the left, and has a clear run to the outside, and he is going to be able to make that position work. Let's see if he gives Ricciardo a squeeze. No, he doesn't. There's an absolute pile of space there, so Vettel not doing anything wrong in that situation, and he's able to get through scot-free. As you can see there, Lando putting the pressure on Lewis Hamilton down towards turn 4. Not able to make a move though is the British driver on the other British driver just there. Now we go on board with Fernando Alonso. This is the one we want to see exactly what happened for the Spanish driver returning to Formula 1. A lot of dust, not great visibility down towards the first corner. To the inside he goes, and he really sends it in at the last moment. Contact with Ricciardo, and yeah, I have to say Alonso caused that incident, I think, with Ricciardo. So yeah, unfortunate for him and Ricciardo. They both have front wing damage. Here's the onboard with Carlos Sainz. He didn't get a great getaway off the line either, fairly average, and on the run to the first corner he's getting swamped by Alpine cars. Alonso on the inside, and Ocon on the outside. You can see us sliding through there on the inside, cutting that corner a little bit, but that was mostly just to avoid smashing into the side of anyone. Here's the onboard with Charles Leclerc. He made a bunch of places actually off the start. Great start even versus Alonso. He goes to the middle, and they're actually running 4 wide, the 2 Ferraris and the 2 Alpines, and yeah, Alonso just sent it in just a little bit too hard into the first corner, and yeah, just caused that collision there, and thankfully we were able to go around the outside. That dodging of Esteban Ocon in the braking zone sort of helped us in the end avoid getting involved in that crash, so really kind of thankful that we had to take avoiding action there, and we're able to gain that place. We'll go or stay on board with Charles Leclerc here. We've already seen this little bit where he tried to make the move up the inside. Very light contact made there, but have a look at how deep he goes into turn 10. This is insane how far back he goes. He comes from to try and make this move, and he just can't quite get there, and yeah, eventually he is shuffled out onto the curb and loses that place to Esteban Ocon. But great effort to even go for that move as Charles Leclerc, and he has to slot in behind the Frenchman. Now we go on board with Esteban Ocon, and you can see he gets a reasonable start. This was the driver ahead of us, and the one that caused us to take avoiding action. He goes really late on the brakes too, and he just sort of swerves to the inside, as did the 2 Ferraris and Alonso. They all sort of swerved to the inside in unison. So I don't know what that was about, but yeah, they were all dodging something invisible as we head up towards turn 4. Now you can see Ocon around the outside of Ricciardo, and you can see the damage there to the front wing of the McLaren. So disaster start to the season for Daniel Ricciardo. Maybe he'll be able to recover some position, so that McLaren is pretty fast. On board with Lance Stroll now, and we are going through a lot of things here, but he got a really bad start. Just no drive, similar to Lewis Hamilton's really, and just couldn't get the car launched off the line, and that's Matsushita getting involved with the 2 AlphaTauri cars, and Stroll's even getting overtaken by Williams there. So yeah, really bad start for Lance Stroll. Here's the onboard with Tsunoda, who was right behind Lance Stroll. Great avoiding action taken there. Tries to go to the left of us, and now has a great run towards the first corner, but just not really anywhere for him to go. He's just trying to find some space, but they got cars 4 wide in front of him. He's just got nowhere to go, and he ends up being overtaken by his teammate though. Better run though out of turn 3 for Tsunoda, as the two AlphaTauris now run side by side into turn 4. Tsunoda sends it and tries to keep the fight going with his teammate, as they were going to run side by side for a while here, it seems, as they continue to go through the middle sector. Tsunoda just barely ahead at the moment, as Gasly is about to be overtaken here by his new teammate in his very first race. But Gasly around the outside of Carlos Sainz out of nowhere. Another overtake for Pierre Gasly, and he's going to be able to get that one done, as Sainz is stuck behind Daniel Ricciardo, and Ricciardo with the damage is very, very slow. Gasly passes Ricciardo now, so great stuff from Pierre Gasly, and he has made those moves stick when it counts. Tsunoda, unfortunately, just wrong place, wrong time for him, as Sainz was on the inside line. You can see Gasly just squeezed in on the outside before Sainz could cover it off, and yeah, he was able to make that move, and unfortunately Tsunoda was blocked by the Ferrari, so unfortunate for the Japanese driver. But Gasly now down the inside of Ricciardo. This was a nice move too, but obviously Ricciardo, no downforce at the front of that car, so he's not going to put up too much of a fight. Finally we go on board. We've been through a lot of onboard starts. This is our teammate. Of course, we're going to look at his start, and he made a really great start as well. Great launch off the line, probably better than Tsunoda's, or equal to it. Tsunoda was a little bit held up by Lance Stroll, but unfortunately Matsushita again just sort of in the wrong place, and just couldn't quite make things work, and lost the position to those two AlphaTauris, but he still gained a little bit off the start. And the reason we were looking at so many replays of the race start is because nothing happened in that stint. Nothing at all, and we now move on to lap 12.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the mediums.
We continue on then, and it is time now for our pit stop, and we'll go on to the medium compound tyres and start the second stint. So here we go into the box. Let's hope for a nice speedy stop, and it is a 3.1 second stop, so not great from the lads, but good enough, I suppose. And we will come out in some relatively clean air by the look of things, and we'll be able to keep controlling this race from where we stand. We currently sit in a very lofty 8th position still, so yeah, we're having a really great run here. I think a lot of cars have damage to floors and diffusers and other bits and pieces that cannot be repaired after that first corner collision. The likes of Daniel Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso obviously should normally be running in the top 10, but yeah, they've been taken out. Lance Stroll as well, just a bad start. So a lot of the sort of top midfield cars have been knocked out of contention here, and it's given us a great opportunity to score some points. We actually got the undercut on Sebastian Vettel, but he's down the inside as we head into turn 4. This is for position as we go side by side with the German through the middle sector now, and this fight is gonna continue as we're neither of us are gonna give this up through the S's in the middle sector. A huge old slide for us as we get up on the inside curb, and now we're going to try for a switch back here to see if we can get back ahead of Sebastian Vettel, but no, we just can't get the power down on the exit. We're just a little bit too slow and tight, and that is the end of that battle. Meanwhile, Sergio Perez retires from the race with a mechanical failure. Disaster for him in his first race for Red Bull, and for the Red Bull team overall. An engine failure in the first race is not what they need, so yeah, really tough luck there for Sergio Perez. Red Bull.
P5, you're in P5. Bottas ahead. Our gap to the car in front is 12.6 seconds.
And yeah, but we continue on then, and you can see we are now sitting behind one of the back markers as they probably attempt to move out the way. But yeah, this has been a very quiet race for us. We've just been doing our own thing. Sebastian Vettel was able to get away from us, so there hasn't really been a lot for us to do in this race. We've just been pushing as fast as we possibly can, and yeah, just doing the most we could, and yeah, we just didn't have the pace that Sebastian Vettel had. To be fair, he was on the soft compound tyres, so maybe in this last stint we'll have some better pace. But the problem we may face is that Vettel has got the undercut on us because he was on softs. His last pit stop was earlier, so his last stint will be longer, and yeah, that could prove to be an issue for us because he is now a long way ahead. So unless there's a safety car, I don't see how we're going to pull this gap back to Sebastian Vettel. So yeah.
We're sat in 6th, Vettel ahead. They're on fresh mediums. Tsunoda is behind you. Our gap behind is 20.1 seconds.
And I'm not exactly sure who we jumped earlier, but I feel like we've gained a position somewhere. Oh, there's PEREZ out. But now GIOVINAZZI out with a mechanical failure. Will this potentially cause the safety car that we want, as the Alfa Romeo has a major issue, pulls off to the side of the road, and spoiler alert, no, it doesn't cause a safety car. But meanwhile, this is Matsushita trying to find his way back into the race. He got some front wing damage at some point. He collided with a car coming out of pit lane, I think. But he's overtaking one of the Williams cars there and makes that move stick. So good to see Matsushita getting in amongst the action as we send it up the inside of that Williams. And now close up behind our teammates who, as I said, has had to make an extra stop in this one. So yeah, really tough run for Matsushita in his opening race. But
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
And yeah, but he'll come back stronger next time, I am sure, as we go around the outside and make that move on Matsushita. So yeah, for now, this is really all that we can do, is just keep lapping some of the back markers. But yeah, for us in this race, I think our position is pretty much set. We don't really have any cars around us that we need to worry about. Vettel's too far ahead, and Leclerc is too far behind to really do anything. And I think he was potentially one of the cars with some damage. So as quick as that may have seemed, here is the end of the race, and the win goes to Lewis Hamilton. He takes race 1 this season, and Lewis Hamilton wins the Bahrain Grand Prix, and we are going to come through at the end, and we are going to take a huge number of points for our team. This is a mega start to the season, as a few of the last back markers get out the way for us as we head towards the final corner, or the final 2 corners in the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's been a great showing and a great opening account for our team, and we are going to bring home 6th position in the Bahrain Grand Prix. We're out of fuel though. We might lose a position here. Leclerc is not that far behind. Here he comes, but we'll just get to the line first.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
And there was another car very close behind him too, but thankfully we survived that last minute scare at the end there. Pierre Gasly gets the driver of the day.
A fantastic team effort then to secure victory here in the desert. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So after a slow start to the race, Lewis Hamilton brings it back and takes the win here in Bahrain. Max Verstappen takes home 2nd position with Valtteri Bottas in 3rd.
This round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the drivers' championship. Now, let's discuss, Ants. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I'll probably go for Pierre Gasly. The team did a good job with the strategy to put him in amongst the pack, but it's the driver's job to capitalise on those opportunities, and he did so with a lot of skill.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
How are we 5th in the Constructors' Championship after that race? That is insane. Ahead of Ferrari, AlphaTauri and Alpine. Of course ahead of Williams, Alfa Romeo and Haas, but that's not really a huge concern for us. We should be ahead of those anyway. But yeah, that is crazy that we've been able to bring home so many points in the first race. But you can see the big names down the order. Daniel Ricciardo out of the points, Yuki Tsunoda almost in the points, Fernando Alonso out of the points, and the list goes on. So yeah, not great. Esteban Ocon as well, after he made a good start. Probably could have expected a little more from him in this race. But yeah, a lot of the fast drivers were trapped down the order, either having to make an extra pit stop or just having to make a front wing change, or yeah, various other issues. I think Carlos Sainz had front wing damage at some point, and yeah, just various issues compounded for our main rivals in this race, and it really worked out well for us, and we were able to absolutely maximize what we were capable of today. Leclerc was catching us at the end, you may have noticed. He was, you know, a few seconds behind at the end of the last stint, and then he closed right up to us on the final few laps as our tyres were going off. But overall, our pace was very, very good, so you know, perhaps we could say the difficulty was slightly low as well. But I think a lot of cars, I don't know about Leclerc, but there were certainly cars with damage to them throughout the race, so that also explains why a lot of them were out of position down the order a bit, and I think there were some collisions throughout the race as well that I didn't quite show in the video itself. I know Carlos Sainz and my teammate both collided with cars on pit exit, as well as a few others I think that I may not have even seen. But yeah, that's just the incidents that I know about. Pit exit, it just seems that sometimes a car coming out of pit lane has a little bit of a run-in with one of the ones already on track, and they tend to get damaged when that happens. But anyway, other than that though, I think, as I said, we absolutely maximized what our car was capable of here. Unfortunately, Matsushita, not so lucky. Again, he got damaged fighting with a few cars down at the first corner, but oh well, that's just the way it goes. He'll come back stronger next time, and I'm sure he'll bring home points for us very soon. He was very quick in qualifying, and I'm sure he'll do the job next time out.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Yeah, the start of that race really went well for us. I was just taking avoiding action because I was a little bit too late on the brakes and took to the outside, and then there was some kind of incident at the first corner, and a lot of people got held up, so that really helped us.
You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled.
Well, that's kind of my job.
It looks like you've really been focusing on research and development this season.
Yeah, of course. We are new to Formula 1, but we want to push and get the best results we can, so we need to bring plenty of upgrades.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Thank you, Claire. And there we have it, the end of the first race, and I would call that a resounding success. I don't think that really could have gone much better for us, to be honest. So, well, what's next? We've got a 6th position in that race. Podium? I doubt it. We'll probably get some form of reality check next time out, but still good to get some decent results on the board early on, and a huge bank of points as well that should not be forgotten. And you know, theoretically, this is as bad as our car is going to be. So to get some points on what maybe theoretically our worst weekend is huge. Anyway, as for the timeline between events, we have a lot of time to fill in, so we're going to go for the funded team events. We're going to go for the driver reaction training, as we always do, to keep Matsushita's stats boosted as high as they possibly can be. We're going to go for the supplier HQ tour, as well as the driver promotion filming and the power team building, and get a lot of acclaim focused events done in the intervening time between races. So we fast forward through time then, and we get
It
the
looks like you've
funded...
had a meeting request from one of our departments.
As the boss, departments will often reach out to you for advice on how to handle the various ongoings of your team.
So
These
we've
events
got one of those
can range from
department
everything from
events. I'm just going to
organising
talk over him
charity
here
events
because
to
he's just
dealing
going to
with
talk
driver
forever
matters.
otherwise. But
How you
yes, a
decide to
department
handle
event
these
now,
will have an
and
impact not only on
that
our
means
resources,
we
but
have
how
to
the
make a
best
choice
procedures.
regarding something that has happened in the HQ. So this is one of those new things for this game,
personnel
and
department
let's see
has asked us to deal
what
with
it
this.
is. It's the personnel department,
couple of
and
options
it
here.
is pace
Take
or
your
awareness
time.
for our
What
second
you decide
driver.
to do will have
A boost,
consequences.
as they've been spending a lot of time on the simulator. So let's see, awareness or pace. Pace, I think, is the obvious choice here. Awareness, it makes a difference, but to their mistakes, but to outright pace, I think is what is more important at the moment. So yeah, pace is the obvious choice here. So that is what we're going to focus on, I think, at the moment, and I think that is going to be more beneficial. So yeah, it's the same number as well. So if it was a bigger boost to awareness, that may have been worth looking into. You know, if it was like a +10 awareness or plus 3 pace, I might have considered awareness. But yeah, nah, pace is definitely the more beneficial option there. So we continue through the activity timeline, and we will actually go to a season break here as we get some upgrades and more events out of the way. And yeah, let's head to the season break. And here we are on the other side of said season break, and we have a bunch of time and only one more activity to do, the aero department focus. So might as well do that, but very kind of weird because we're going to have a lot of spare time for the team. But anyway, no big deal. And even we actually stopped the time and see if it gave us a new set of events, but no, we don't actually have anything to do. So that's a little unfortunate.
Issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for the weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screen.
And speaking of unfortunate, we have had the monocoque structure upgrade fail, and that has not been able to go onto the car. So that's unfortunate. That upgrade will not be giving us any kind of assistance as we head into the next round. And yeah, we're going to have to repurchase that and spend more R&D points. But this sort of stuff happens, so it's no big deal. We'll be able to repurchase it, and it should go onto the car very, very soon. But other than that, then I don't think there is really too much left to cover. We'll continue through, and another upgrade's failed. Another upgrade's failed. Of course it has. Anyway, it is going to be easy enough to fix. So yeah, just unfortunate that 2 of our upgrades already have failed. So definitely not as good as we could be heading into this next round.
So the entire development package for the weekend is
for goodness sake, Ollie, just stop talking.
Ordered from the R&D screen.
Just say the upgrade failed. I don't need this whole little every time. Anyway, so yes, we've had failure after failure after failure, but oh well, that is just something we're going to have to deal with. But anyway, we've had another department event.
What we could do with your expertise on this.
And it's the power unit department. This time, a bit of an argument between the engineers, mechanics, and the second driver, Matsushita. So, what are we going to go here? We could let the department lead the program, the upgrades, the direction they go, or we could choose our teammates. And if we do choose our teammate, it will help their focus. If we choose the department, it will negatively affect their focus. So given that I think focus is actually going to be a really important stat, we're going to go and side with our teammates, and yeah, basically side with them. Unfortunately, that will not give us as much of a discount, but it will help their focus, and I think that's the more important thing. I mean, the discount on the upgrade is good, but I think we're better off siding with our teammate and helping his focus overall, and maybe he'll be able to make that difference himself. But anyway, that is it for this one. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which is going to be round 2, which is kind of mad to say, but there we have it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.